Namaskaram to everyone. My name is Yogashree. I'm from Edmonton, Canada. I have with me Mukund Krishnan on the violin. We would first like to thank Prashala for this wonderful opportunity to perform. On the account of Narasimha Jayanthi, today's topic will be Prahlada Charithram. The basis for today's musical discourse will be Srimad Bhagavatam, penned by Sri Vedavyasa, poems by other noted poets and noted compositions by many composers. The Srimad Bhagavatam elucidates the Prahlada Charithram and Narasimha Avataram in detail in the 7th canto. Akantamadi Purusham Kantiravam Uparikuntitaratim Akantamadi Purusham Akantamadi Purusham Adi Purusham Adi Purusham Adi Purusham Adi Purusham Kantiravam Uparikuntitaratim Gopakantha Sangat 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 Vimukta Vaikunta Vimukta Vaikunta Vaikunta Vimukta Vaikunta Bahumati Upase Vimukta Vaikunta Bahumati Upase Vimukta Vaikunta Bahumati Upase Narasimha Maamava Bhagavan Narasimha Maamava Bhagavan Nithyam 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 Narasimha Nithyam Narasimha Maamava Bhagavan Nithyam Narasimha Maamava Bhagavan Nithyam Haravircha Vasava Nudashaurya Sindho Haravircha Vasava Nudashaurya Sindho Haravircha Vasava Nudashaurya Sindho Haravircha Vasava Nudashaurya Sindho Adiravasa Vihata Suradinava Adiravasa Vihata Suradinava Adiravasa Vihata Suradina Pavano Padava Magaritri Magaruru Sanidadritsa Padava Magaritri Magaruru Sanidadritsa Padava Magaritri Magari Sanidadritsa Risari Magari Pamagari Sari Mapa Dava Magaritri Magari Sanidadritsa Risari Magari Pamagari Sari Mapa Dava Magari Sari Mapa Mapada Sari Nasari Magari Sari Nasara Pada Mapa Magari Sari Mapa Dava Magari Sari Magari Dadritsa Risari Magari Pamagari Sari Mapa Dava Magari Sari Mapa Mapada Sari Nasari Magari Sari Nasara Pada Mapa Magari Sari Narasimha Maamava Bhagavan Karadrita Shitayati Jada Guri Karushavari Ragula Vada Karadrita Shitayati Jada Guri Karushavari Ragula Vada Harita Kriparasa Paripani Tava Harita Kriparasa Paripani Tava Harita Kriparasa Paripani Deva Paramangala Shobha Pankajanama Paramangala Shobha Pankajanama Paramangala Shobha Pankajanama Padava Magaritri Magari Sanidadritsa Dasari Mapadava Magaritri Magari Sanidadritsa Dasari Mapadava Magaritri Magari Sanidadritsa Risari Magari Pamagari Sari Mapadava Magari Sari Mapamapada Sari Dasari Magari Sari Dasadavada Mapamagari Sari Narasimha Padava Magaritri, Magari Sari Ritri Sari Magari, Pomagari, Sari Mabaraba Magari, Sari Mabamabada Sari, Sari Magari, Sari Gasalabada, Mabamagari, Sari Maharaja, Maamava, Narasimha, Maamava, Bhagavan, Narasimha, 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 Maamava, Bhagavan, Nithyam. Srimad Bhagavatam is essentially a conversation or a dialogue between sage Shuka, the son of sage Vedavyasa, and Parikshit, the grandson of the Pandavas. After listening to the 6 cantos of Bhagavatam, after listening to the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Srimad Narayana, after listening to the signs of creation, general science, philosophy, literature and spirituality, Parikshit had a very valid doubt. He felt Lord Narayana was always partial to the Devatas or the demigods. He asked the question to sage Shuka saying, Samapriyaha Sugridhe Samapriyaha Sugrid Brahman Samapriya Suhrid Brahman Bhudara Bhudanam Bhagavan Swayam Bhagavan Indrasyate Gadam Daityanam Avadid Vishamuyata Parikshit says, Samapriyaha. My dear Brahmana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sriman Narayana, is equal to everyone, very dear to everyone, and a well-wisher of everyone. Why then did he turn into a common man and become partial to Indra and began fighting his enemies on his behalf? How did Lord Narayana become partial to some and inimical to the others? Kindly provide me some positive evidence to dispel my doubt of Narayana being partial. Kindly provide evidence to tell me and show me that Narayana is indeed equal to everyone. Shukadeva says, that is an excellent question, Parikshit. Your observations seem okay, but your conclusion is incorrect. The Lord is indeed equal to everyone, no matter what. Let me tell you something. Each body contains a soul, and each soul is conditioned by three gunas, namely the Sattva Guna, the Rajo Guna, and the Tamo Guna. The Sattva Guna are the positive attributes. The Rajo Guna are the negative attributes like envy, anger, and so on. The Tamo Guna is like lethargy, tardiness, laziness, and so on. Each being on this planet is conditioned by these three gunas to different extents. The Devatas or the demigods fall into the Sattva Guna, and the Rakshasas or the demons fall into the Rajo Guna. Always the positive attributes will outweigh the negative. Always the positive will win over the negative. And hence the Rakshasas and the demons were destroyed or annihilated by the Lord. But just because they were destroyed, it didn't mean that the Lord was partial to them. He in fact provided salvation to them no matter what. And that is how he maintained equality towards everyone. Let me tell you the story of an Asura Balaka, or a child that was born in a demonic clan but was favored by Narayana himself because of his positive attributes, because of his Sattva Guna. Once upon a time, the four sons of Brahma, namely Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumara, were wandering around different worlds. Finally, they reached Vaikuntha. The gatekeepers Jaya and Vijaya, however, considered them to be mere children, mere boys, and forbade them to enter Vaikuntha. The Sanat Kumaras became very angry and cursed Jaya and Vijaya to be born in the material world. True to the curse, Jaya and Vijaya were born as sons of Diti in the Daitya Kula or Asura clan or the demonic clan. They were born as brothers, the elder one Hiranyakashipu and the younger one Hiranyaksha. When Lord Narayana incarnated as a boar in the Varaha Avataram, he annihilated and destroyed Hiranyakshan for his atrocities. Having heard this, Hiranyakashipu became very angry, extremely angry, and began to lament. He called upon all the Asuras, all the demons, and began saying, "Oh my dear friends, all this while, Vishnu was equal to the demigods, the Devatas and the Asuras. But this time, Vishnu aided Indra and killed Hiranyakshan on his behalf. And therefore, my enemy, our enemy is no longer the Devatas or the demigods, but it is Vishnu himself. I shall sever his head, and I will not rest in peace until I bathe from the blood that flows out. And this is how I will ensure that my brother's soul rests in peace." All the Asuras began hailing to this horrendous pledge. All of them, after listening to this pledge, began destroying everything in all the worlds. They burnt down agricultural fields, farms, gardens, lands. They killed hermits, they killed sages, they burnt down hermitages, they killed cows, cowherd men, and so on. They even bought down and burned down government capitals. As if this weren't enough, Hiranyakashipu wanted to attain immortality and decided to perform a penance to Lord Brahma in the valley of the Mandara mountain. So austere was his penance that a flame blazing from his head emanated. The heat from the flame reached all living beings, all living organisms and the beasts, and they could not handle it. Finally, even the Devatas in their abode could not handle the heat. They all ran to Brahma, the creator, and prayed to him, "O Lord Brahma, please relieve us from this pain. Please grant Hiranyakashipu his wishes and stop his penance." Lord Brahma agreed and appeared before Hiranyakashipu saying, "Uttishto uttishta badram te tapaha siddhosi kashyapa varadoham manu prapto vriyatam himsato vana." Lord Brahma says, "Get up, Hiranyakashipu. I am very pleased with your penance. What is it that you want?" Hiranyakashipu says, "I want immortality, my lord." Brahma says, "That is not possible, Hiranyakashipu. You can ask for anything. Any being born on this earth has to meet death and has to die. You can ask for anything else." Hiranyakashipu says, "If that is the case, I should be killed neither by a man nor by an animal. I should be killed neither inside the house nor outside the house. I should be killed neither in the night nor in the morning. I should not be killed by any weapons that's made by man," and so on. Brahma says Tathastu and grants all Hiranyakashipu's boons. After receiving the benedictions from Brahma, there was no control of Hiranyakashipu's eccentricity and his atrocity. He began bringing everyone under control, not only the Devatas but also the Asuras themselves. Not being able to withstand the wrath of Hiranyakashipu's atrocities and conquests, all the Devatas this time ran to Lord Narayana, to Padmanabha, to Vaikuntha. They found that the Lord was in his yogic slumber, lying on the mighty snake, the Adisesha. They began praying, saying, Narasimha This Kriti in Amir Kalyani is composed by Sri Swathi Thirunal. All the Devatas pray to Lord Narayana, to Lord Padmanabha. They say, the one with a Mohana Mridhuhasa, the one with a beautiful smile, the one who rests on Pannagendra Shaya, and the one who protects Sadhu Janavana. O Gangeya Vasanandhara, O Padmanabha, please protect us. Maamava Navajalaganga. Please protect us, Padmanabha. Lord Narayana with a smile says, don't worry, O Devatas. The cause for Hiranyakashipu's destruction will be his own child. Having heard this, the Devatas felt there was some solution to Hiranyakashipu's atrocities and went back to their abode and awaited with bated breath for the birth of this child. While Hiranyakashipu was busy conquering the different worlds, he left his pregnant wife, Kayatu, under the care and guidance of sage Narada at his hermitage. Sage Narada, the Sakala Guru, Sakala Loka Guru, would impart spiritual wisdom to Kayatu and the unborn child in her womb. Finally, the day arrived and Kayatu gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. Hiranyakashipu was very happy and named him Prahlada. Prahlada was very different from Hiranyakashipu. Ever since he was a fetus, he had received so much wisdom, spiritual wisdom and knowledge that he was very wise even though he was a baby, a child of 4 or 5 years old. He was an exalted Vaishnavite and a Mahabhagavatan. He would always engage himself in Narayana Charanambuja Smarana Samudita Parama Pavitra Hladaha Namani Hare Kirtayaratin Rodati Hasati Prahladaha Viharti Vaishnava Satamaha Satatam Viharti Vaishnava Satamaha. Gadgadakamba Svedharomanja Pramukhaneka Satvikankitaha Govindali Ganajanidotsava Divyo Malalankritaha Viharati Vaishnava Satamaha Sacharacharamidam Nithyam Jagadapi Pranamapi Narayana Bhavanaya Samsaramudhi Kallole Kila Nrityati Sadatam Prema Sudaya Viharati Vaishnava Satamaha Satatam Viharati Vaishnava Satamaha. This Kriti in Ananda Bhairavi is composed by my revered Guru Shri Shri Krishna Premi Swamigal as a part of Harikatha Amrita Lahari. Prahlada was very different in the sense he would always engage himself in Narayana Charanambuja Smarana. He would engage in meditating on the Lord's Tiruvadi or on the Lord's lotus feet. He would also Namani Hare Kirtayaratyam. He would sing Harinama Sankirtanam. He would dance to Harinama Sankirtanam. And he would express his bhakti and devotion Rodati Hasati Prahlada by crying, by laughing. The depth of Prahlada's devotion to Lord Narayana cannot be conceived or comprehended by normal human beings like us. So great was his devotion. Mind you, he was just a child, 4 or 5 years old. Hiranyakashipu entrusted the education of Prahlada into the hands of Sanda and Amararka, the sons of his spiritual master, Shukracharya. Every day in the Gurukulam, Sanda and Amararka would try their best to teach Prahlada politics, economics, finances, about the greatness of Hiranyakashipu, how he achieved greatness, what Prahlada must do to achieve greatness like his father, and so on. But Prahlada never paid attention or heeded to any of these. He was involved in he was lost in his own bhakti and devotion. One day, when the summer vacation arrived, Prahlada went back to the palace. He was just 5 years old. His mother Kayatu dressed him up all nicely. He combed his hair, adorned him with beautiful jewelry and colorful robes and fragrances, and took him to meet his father. Hiranyakashipu looked at Prahlada, was very happy, and affectionately picked him up and asked him, Ekada surata putram ankamaropya pandava papracha katyatam vatsa manyate sadhu yadbhavan. He asked him, what did you learn in school, Prahlada? Tell me, how do you achieve greatness? Prahlada, he was expecting Prahlada to talk about how Hiranyakashipu achieved greatness and to talk about Hiranyakashipu's conquests and so on. But Prahlada had a totally different answer. He says, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Shravanam Kirtanam Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmanivedanam Sakyam Atmanivedanam Atmanivedanam Iti Pumsarpita Vishnu Bhaktische Navarakshana Kriyeta Bhagavatyadha Tanmanyedita Muttamam. He says, my dear father, to achieve greatness, one can devote oneself to Lord Narayana. He can perform devotion in 9 ways, namely, Shravanam, listening to the Lord's Kirtanam, listening to the Lord's Nama, Kirtanam, singing the Lord's Nama, Smaranam, meditating upon the Lord, Padasevanam, performing puja at his feet, Archanam, performing general puja, Vandanam, praying to the Lord, Dasyam, being a servant to the Lord, Sakyam, being a friend to the Lord, Atmanivedanam, or surrendering entirely to the Lord. These 9 forms of bhakti will not only help in achieving spiritual wisdom but also material wealth and greatness. Hiranyakashipu was enraged having heard Vishnu's name being uttered by his son Prahlada that he pushed him out of his lap. He felt Prahlada was treacherous for having uttered Vishnu's name, the one who killed his own uncle. He called Sanda and Amararka and blasted them for teaching Prahlada something and all. He said, next time Prahlada better answer my questions correctly. Wipe out this information that he has about Vishnu and so on. Sanda and Amararka returned along with Prahlada. They tried again to teach multiple things to Prahlada. But everything was not of any use. Again, when he returned for vacation, when Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlada some question, Prahlada again started talking about the greatness of Srimad Narayana. This time Hiranyakashipu lost it. He was very angry. He asked his attendants to kill his own son. All of them took out their sharp spears, sharp weapons, and began hurling them at Prahlada. But nothing happened to Prahlada, not even a single scratch. They then decided to push him from a mountain, thinking he will definitely die. But that also did not do anything to Prahlada. They decided to run him over in a herd of mad elephants running around. Nothing happened to Prahlada. They pushed him into a fire. There was not a single burn or a wound on Prahlada. Hiranyakashipu began getting scared of Prahlada. Even Prahlada was least bit bothered about what was happening. He was just a child. He was undeterred. He was constantly praying to Narayana. And it was the prayer that saved him all the time. It was Narayana who saved him all the time from all of this. When he was back at the Gurukulam, Sanda and Amararka once were busy doing something else. All the kids in the classroom, all the demon kids, his classmates and friends were all playing. Prahlada says, but Prahlada was not playing. He then calls out to his friends and classmates, "Oh my dear friends, please stop playing. Why are you wasting time like this?" The kids then turn to Prahlada. "What do you mean wasting time? What do you expect us to do in free time? Obviously play." "No," he says, "no, my dear friends. Do not waste your time playing." All the kids ask, "Why is it so, Prahlada?" Prahlada then says, "Manava janma dodadu, Manava janma dodadu, Manava janma dodadu, Manava janma dodadu, Manava by Purandardasar in Purvi Kalyani. Prahlada says, do not waste your time because Maamava janma dudadu. Because being born as a human or being born with human intelligence is precious. This human life is precious and hence idahani madalu bedi. Do not waste this precious life, my dear friends. When you have kannu, when you have eyes to see the Lord, kai, hand to serve the Lord, to do puja, kal, legs to go walking to the temple, kivi, ears to hear Harinama Sankirtana, nalike, a mouth, a tongue to utter the words of Harinama. When you have all this, why waste your time in sense gratification, in trying to get all your desires? Instead, Hariya Namamrita, sing Harinama and attain ultimate bliss. All the children are now curious to know more. They all ask Prahlada, is that so, Prahlada? What is this sense gratification you're talking about? What are these desires that you're talking about? Prahlada then says, Manasu Vishayana Sangite Mara Prahlada says, whenever your mind, mind thinks of something or your heart thinks of something and you immediately do anything to achieve it, you're going to get distracted. You're trying to satisfy your senses. For example, food could be a sense gratification. Other distractions like women, like money, and so on are all distractions, my dear friend. Sense gratification will not lead you anywhere. How will you, when you are so invested in sense gratification, how will you how will you achieve Narayana's kripa or grace or benevolence if you are always involved in trying to go after your desires without any control? The kids then ask, so that means we should not be distracted by a lot of things. What about money, Prahlada? Prahlada then says, Nidhi chale sukhama ramuni sannidhi seva sukhama nija mugavalgu manasa nidhi chale sukhama. This kriti is composed by Tyagaraja. Prahlada says, think about it, my dear friends. The one who is after money is a mercenary. His only thoughts are money and nothing else. No matter how much he has in his pocket, he wants to keep earning more and more money, becoming more and more rich. He even considers money to be sweeter than honey. But think about it, if you invest all of your time, energy, thoughts and feelings so much into money, would that provide you any satisfaction? You only want more. But instead, try focusing on Maramuni and Nidhichala Sukhama. Will it give you any satisfaction? Will money give you a satisfaction? Or Ramuni Salnidhi Seva Sukhama. Will seva or service to Narayana provide you ultimate satisfaction? You will in fact feel completely fulfilled with this kind of devotional service. He also says, just like money and other desires that all of us are always after, always trying to gratify our senses, you must also know that none of this around us is real. It is all an illusion or maya of the Lord. Mamata bandayuda narastuti sukama. Even these relations that we have out of affection, like that of our parents, mother, father, siblings, friends, spouses, anybody, all of this is all temporary and will just vanish and change within no time. The only permanent relationship is with that of Hari himself, and hence we need to be always engaged in devotional service to maintain that permanent relationship with the Lord. The boys are all very happy to hear this and they want to know more. They ask Prahlada, "Oh Prahlada, what do we do to do this devotional service? How do we perform devotional service?" Prahlada says, "My dear friends, this is very easy. Anyone can perform devotional service. All you need to do is Hari Smarane Mado Nirantara. Hari Smarane Mado Nirantara. Hari Smarane Mado Nirantara. Hari Smarane Mado Nirantara." Dasar. Prahlada says, very simple my friends, all you need to do is Hari Smarane Mado Nirantara. Always meditate on Hari, sing Harinama Sankirtanam, because that only will ensure Paragati Getu Nirdara. It will ensure spiritual bliss, material wealth, and Paragati or salvation. Didn't the Lord even protect the animal? He protected an animal, Gajendra, an elephant. So once you surrender to the Lord, He will definitely Sharanagata Rakshaka Bhavanani. He will protect anyone who surrenders to Him, no matter who that is, whether you're a demon or whether you're a devata, whether you're a human being, whether you're an animal, He's equal to everyone. The boys were very happy. All the preachings that Prahlada had told them, all that he had preached, the children just grasped it immediately and began doing Harinama Sankirtanam. Santa and Amararka began hearing some noise. They wanted to know what it was, and they go to the classroom. When they reach the classroom, they hear Hari 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 kids are singing Harinama Sankirtanam, dancing to it and being very happy singing Harinama. Sanda and Amararka did not know what to do. They dragged Prahlada out of the classroom and presented him in front of his father, Hiranyakashipu. They say, your son is responsible for all the demon children to say Harinama. Now it is your responsibility to deal with this. Hiranyakashipu gets very angry. He begins screaming at Prahlada. How dare you, Prahlada? Even though his father was screaming, Prahlada began glorifying the Lord even more. The more he glorified Narayana, the more angry Hiranyakashipu got. He says, you rascal, you are talking about that Narayana who killed my brother, who killed your uncle. You are talking about him that as though he is so great, I am the one who is great. You don't know anything. All this nonsensical talk, I don't know where you learned from. You think you are very great talking about Narayana like that? Prahlada says, my dear father, Narayana is the supreme being. There is no comparison between us and Narayana. Hiranyakashipu gets even more wild. He says, you are going to die at my hands. Let me see how your Narayana protects you. Prahlada says, the Lord is omnipresent. He is everywhere and He will protect me no matter what. Is that so, Prahlada? Hiranyakashipu says. He picks up his mighty Gadha or mace and he says, if that is the case, tell me if your Narayana is in any of these pillars. And then with all his might, he struck at the pillar. When he did so, a tumultuous sound emerged from the pillar. The sound was so deafening and loud and it felt never ending that all the demons, everyone in the court got scared. Once the sound ended, when they looked up, they saw a great form. It was that of Lord Narayana, the supreme being, in the form of Narasimha Deva. Everyone was shocked to see Narayana. Everyone was shocked to see Narayana, the supreme being, the Ananta. Tarum dattarum 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 darum 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 dattarum 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 darum 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 The Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Narasimha Deva had incarnated to protect Prahlada. Prahlada said that the Lord was omnipresent and no matter what would come to rescue Prahlada. The Lord indeed kept Prahlada's word by Narasimha ensured to protect Prahlada as soon as Prahlada called. Yelli bhattaru karedaralle bandodu bhuvanu. Whenever a bhakta, a devotee calls, the Lord will come running to protect them. He also ensured that he placed himself and manifested himself in every pillar because he did not know which pillar Hiranyakashipu would hit. In order to showcase his omnipresence, he hid inside every pillar possible. And that is how he kept his devotee child Prahlada's word. The Lord's form was never seen before. It was a fierce form of Narasimha Deva. The Lord was half man, half lion. Everyone was astounded and astonished looking at it. Even Hiranyakashipu was surprised. Lord Narayana's upper part of the body was that of a lion, the lower part that of a man. He had a shining mane. His ears stood erect listening to any motion, any sound. His nostrils and jaw were so huge that resembled that of caves of a mountain. His eyes were angry. They were looking like molten gold and so angry. His tongue was moving from left to right so fast like that of a snake's. He looked very fierce. He looked very angry and he was looking for Hiranyakashipu. The Lord roared and the roar was also very loud. With his conch, with his gadha, with his mace, with his sword, he killed all the other demons. Finally, he spotted Hiranyakashipu, who was trying to hide with a shield and a sword and a mace and so on. But that was nothing for the Lord. He just picked up Hiranyakashipu as though Garuda or an eagle would pick up a snake or a snake would pick up a mouse. The Lord just picked up Hiranyakashipu and placed him on his lap. The Lord's form was enormous, gigantic. Hiranyakashipu looked like a minuscule in front of him. He just picked up and placed Hiranyakashipu on the lap. And with his nails, the Lord began tearing Hiranyakashipu's body. He first took out the heart and threw it out. He then started whirling out the intestines and used it as a garland around himself. His mane, his mouth, his nails were all covered in Hiranyakashipu's blood. The Lord's anger still did not subside even though he just tore Hiranyakashipu apart. All the devatas descended from their abode to the palace. But they were all very scared to go near the Lord. Even goddess Lakshmi, the Lord's consort, was very scared to go because he was very angry. Brahma then encouraged and prodded Prahlada to go forward. Prahlada, the mere 5-year-old child, the boy, witnessed all of these incidents, was not scared even a little bit. He only had affection to the Lord. He went to the Lord and began singing, Vikhasvaru nakhasvaru kshata hiranya vakshastali Nirargala vinirgala drudira sindhu sandhyayita Avantu madanasika manuja panchavatrasya aham pratamika mitaha prakadita This sloka is taken from the Kamasika Ashtakam penned by Sri Vedanta Desikar, describing how Narasimha killed Hiranyakashipu. Prahlada then praised the Lord, and then Lord Narasimha then calmed down. Looking at Prahlada, his affection began to ebb and flow. He picked up Prahlada, placed him on his lap and stroked his head and said, Oh my dear child, my dear Prahlada, the one who has always constantly been praying to me with so much belief in me. What is it that you want, my child? Ask for anything. Prahlada says, My dear Lord, I do not want anything for myself. All I want is true devotional service at your feet. I just want to remain a loyal servant to you and to never forget you ever in my lifetime. Lord Narasimha is very happy and blesses Prahlada. With this, we conclude the Prahlada Charithram and Narasimha Avataram. We would like to once again thank Kala Prashala for this opportunity. I would like to thank my gurus, my friends, family for their constant support and encouragement. I also would like to pray that we all have our share of happiness, health and wealth. I would also like to pray that we also have some share of Prahlada's bhakti and devotional service to the Lord. Because Prahlada was indeed Parama Bhagavatham Varasasi Vibhakta Videsha Surakim Purushakana Takashipu Sutanara